let's talk about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. This team may be the most dangerous team in the NFL. They look very good. Now, the biggest thing is going to be this for a lot of Lamar Jackson doubters and a lot of Lamar Jackson haters. They're going to say, hey, can he do it into the NFL playoffs? And can they do it when it matters the most? But so far, this regular season has been a success, even with all the injuries. No Mark Andrews, no Keaton Mitchell, no J.K. Dobbins. No J.K. Dobbins for the majority of the season. But Keaton Mitchell went out a couple weeks ago against the Los Angeles Chargers. He tore his ACL. Mark Andrews went out a couple weeks ago against the Cincinnati Bengals. But Isaiah likely has stepped in, and he looks like a true number one option at that tight end position. Had 2 catches that went for a touchdown against the Miami Dolphins. One of those catches was a one-handed catch, simple slant route, takes it to the house with that great speed. Zay Flowers has been phenomenal. This has been that wide receiver that Lamar Jackson has been looking for his entire career with the Baltimore Ravens. They had Hollywood Brown. He dropped a lot of passes. Zay Flowers has that speed. He's shifty in open field and is a great smooth route runner. His connection with Lamar Jackson has been phenomenal this season. Now, they have suffered 3 losses this season. They lost to the Indianapolis Colts in weird fashion. Justin Tucker missed a field goal, one of the rare misses in his career. Then you also had that Steelers game to where they lost that game, but it was a lot of drops in that game as well. And Lamar Jackson didn't play his best, but the wide receivers did let him down. They could have easily had 2 extra touchdowns if the wide receivers would have caught passes in the red zone, but they've cleaned that up. And they also lost against the Cleveland Browns a month ago in tough fashion by 2 points. But I look at this Baltimore Ravens team. They have the best defense in the NFL right now. They're taking the football away, and they may have the best linebacking duo in the NFL as well with Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. When they made that trade for Roquan Smith last season, that was phenomenal. To get him from the Chicago Bears and to get him and plug him in at that linebacking spot has been phenomenal. He's been one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and he's one of the best defensive players on this team as well. He may be the best defensive player with the Baltimore Ravens. And you also have Patrick Queen, who is woken up with this team. He has benefited a lot from playing alongside Roquan Smith. He wasn't that star linebacker that they were looking for at the time, but he wasn't bad at the same time. He was able to go out there and make some big plays. But putting Roquan Smith beside him has definitely elevated his game, and give him a lot of credit as well, because he's been a player every single year, every single offseason. He continued to get better and put in the work over and over again. Justin at the defensive lineman position, defensive tackle position, has been phenomenal. He has 12 sacks in the season and 2 forced fumbles. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the game. And you look at their secondary. They're dealing with a lot of injuries still, but their secondary has been very solid. Kyle Hamilton, one of the best safeties in the NFL. Marcus Williams is a slept-on safety as well. Marlon Humphrey, we all know about his game. One of the best glue corners in the NFL, can cover in space and is a great man-to-man corner. And you also have Brandon on the opposite side as well, who's been phenomenal. Another guy to look at with this defense is Devian Clowney. He's never played like this before in his career. He's usually has been an inconsistent pass rusher, but with the Baltimore Ravens, he's been very good. 8.5 sacks and 1 forced fumble. And he has never been known to go out there and get a lot of sacks in the season. He's been phenomenal against the run throughout his entire career. But with this Ravens team, he's been great at getting to the passer, has been very good at stopping the run as well. He has been one of those guys that has turned his career around with the Baltimore Ravens. He wasn't a bad defensive player, but he wasn't that guy that came out of college that the Houston Texans were looking for and the Seattle Seahawks hoped for as well. But I look at him with the Ravens, they've used him in the right way, and they're getting everything going in the right direction. I'm looking at their defensive coordinator. He may be a head coach candidate this offseason, and that's one thing to look out for, because he's done a great job by coaching up this defense so far this season. There's only 1 game left this season. They have officially clinched the first seed in the AFC. If I'm them, I'm resting all the starters next week against the Steelers, but we know that is a historic rivalry. You look at Coach Harbaugh as well. Give him credit. All those injuries, give him credit for keeping this team together and getting things going. Now, I mentioned the defense. Back to the offense. Lamar Jackson should be league MVP. I know a lot of people may disagree with that. They'll say, what about Christian McCaffrey? He's one of the best offensive players in the game. He is. But Lamar Jackson has been phenomenal this season, dealing with all the injuries that he's had to deal with around him. The last 2 years, Lamar Jackson's play got questioned, and the Ravens were hesitant to give him a contract extension because he wasn't able to stay healthy the last 2 years. But when he has been fully healthy, he's been one of the game's best. And this season, he continues to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He has put up very good numbers dealing with the injuries that he had to deal with. Odell Beckham has been a solid wide receiver, but he's not the same wide receiver he was a couple years ago for the Cleveland Browns or the New York Giants. But they don't need him to be that. They just need him to catch the football and make some big plays here and there. The offense starts and ends with Lamar Jackson, and that's no disrespect to the other guys on this team. Even if Mark Andrews was healthy and they had other wide receivers on this team that you could say were better than the wide receivers that they have right now, it still starts and ends with Lamar Jackson. They brought in Todd Monken, who was a former offensive coordinator from Georgia, who had a tremendous stint in college. A lot of people were looking at Lamar Jackson sideways saying, hey, Greg Roman wasn't a bad offensive coordinator. In my opinion, he was. The run game was there. The pass game was not there. Todd Monken has come in. He's elevated this pass game over the weeks because early on in the season, it wasn't pretty. They were still running the football a lot with Lamar Jackson trying to figure some things out, but they've settled in and they gelled in. You have to give this coaching staff a lot of credit, and you also have to give Lamar Jackson a lot of credit as well because he's elevated his game. You look at his rushing numbers, you can say, hey, it's the same old Lamar Jackson. But when you look at the games, his accuracy is better, and he's throwing wide receivers open way more than he has ever done in that old system with Greg Roman. I love what the Baltimore Ravens are doing. All they have to do is just stay healthy and just play their way through tough competition. Continue to run the football behind guys like Tyler Linderbaum, who is one of the best interior linemen in today's game. Run the football, let Lamar Jackson run the show, and play through that defense. This team's going to be hard to beat. And you look at what they did against San Francisco 49ers. They played per man coverage on Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. A lot of teams would never do that. You also had Kyle Hamilton out there on George Kittle making big plays as well. And you look at what happened against the Miami Dolphins, a hurt secondary. I understand that they didn't have Jalen Waddle, but they made Tyreek Hill look pedestrian in that game, and they stopped Tua Tagovailoa and that high-powered offense. This is a true Super Bowl contender for the Baltimore Ravens, and this may be the one true year that they can actually go to the Super Bowl and possibly win the Super Bowl, because you look at the lay of the land right now. There is no Joe Burrow for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Steelers right now, they are a tough team, but they can't score points offensively. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They can't score like how they were in the past with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. When they had those guys on the roster, they still have Travis Kelce, but this may be the best year for the Baltimore Ravens to go there and to get that Super Bowl push. And they could possibly get Mark Andrews back in the playoffs as well, because the injury is not as worse as they thought it would be. But if Mark Andrews still can't go, you still have a very good tight end and Isaiah Likely. You have a very good wide receiver and Zay Flowers. And most importantly, you have Lamar Jackson, who may be a multiple-time MVP by the end of this season. He's already won one, and more than likely he's going to win another this season as well. But let me know in the comment section below how you feel about the Baltimore Ravens, and should Lamar Jackson be the league MVP. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.